He tore out his own eye and was grateful for it. He stabbed himself with a spear, hung himself from the highest branch of the world tree, and refused food, water, and the help of the gods around him for 9 days and 9 nights. Not as punishment, not by force, by choice. He already knows how the world ends. He already knows the day he will die, the enemy that will kill him, and the name of the son who will avenge him. And still, he prepares. Still, he gathers his warriors. Still, he shows up. This is not the story of an all-powerful god living in comfort. This is the story of the most complicated, tormented, and fascinating figure in all of Norse mythology. This is Odin. And before this video is over, you'll understand why the Vikings didn't just worship Odin. They feared him. In Norse mythology, Odin sits at the top of everything. He's the All-Father, ruler of Asgard, king of the Aesir gods, the one all others answer to. His throne is called Hildskjalf, and from it he can see across all 9 worlds simultaneously, every battle, every death, every secret whispered in the dark. He sees it all. He lives in a great hall called Valashkof, and later in Valhalla, the legendary Hall of the Slain, where the greatest warriors who die in battle are brought to feast and train, preparing for one final war. Odin is the god of wisdom, war, death, poetry, sorcery, healing, royalty, and the runic alphabet. His influence is so far-reaching that we still feel it today. Wednesday comes from Woden's Day, the Old English form of Odin's name. But here's what the textbooks leave out. Odin isn't all-powerful. He is desperately, obsessively, relentlessly seeking power, because he knows no matter how much he acquires, it won't be enough to prevent what's coming. But what exactly is coming? We'll get to that, and when we do, everything you just learned about Odin will hit differently.
Odin's greatest weapon has never been a spear. It has never been his ravens, his wolves, or his armies. It is knowledge. And the price he paid for it is almost beyond comprehension. The Well of Mimir. Beneath the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree that connects all 9 worlds, lies the Well of Mimir. Its waters contain the wisdom of the cosmos, every secret, every truth, every hidden thread of fate. The well was guarded by Mimir, the wisest being in existence. When Odin came to him asking for a drink, he gave him a simple answer. The price is one of your eyes. Odin didn't hesitate. He reached into his own skull, removed his eye, and dropped it into the well. In exchange, he drank, and in that single sip he absorbed the knowledge of ages. He became, in that moment, the wisest of all gods. But it still wasn't enough. Because there was something else Odin needed, something that even Mimir's well couldn't give him, something that would require a sacrifice even more extreme than losing an eye. We'll get to that shortly.
The runes are not letters, not simply. To the Norse people, runes were forces, living symbols woven into the fabric of reality itself. To know the runes was to hold power over life, death, fire, and fate. They could heal, they could destroy, they could bend the will of the universe. The runes lived at the base of Yggdrasil, in the well of Urdur, guarded by the Norns. 3 ancient women who carved destiny into the bark of the world tree. Odin watched them from his throne, and he wanted what they had. So he did something that has no parallel in any mythology on Earth. He climbed Yggdrasil. He took his own spear, Gungnir, and drove it through his side. He hung himself from a branch over the void below, staring down into the shadowy waters of the well. And then he gave the order that no god would help him. No food, no water, no rescue. 9 days, 9 nights, hanging, bleeding, dying, but not quite dead. On the 9th night, shapes rose from the depths of the well. The runes had accepted his sacrifice. They revealed themselves to him, not just their forms, but their secrets, their power, their potential. Odin screamed, tore himself free, and fell from the tree. He rose, knowing things no other being in the cosmos knew. He could now heal wounds with a single word, calm the sea, bind his enemies, wake the dead, see the future through fire. He had paid with his comfort, his blood, 9 days of his life on the edge of oblivion, and he considered it a fair trade. Which raises an uncomfortable question. Why would the king of the gods, the most powerful being in Asgard, push himself to this extreme? What was he so afraid of that no amount of power ever felt enough? Odin is rarely alone, and the company he keeps tells you everything about who he is. Hugin and Munin, thought and memory. Every morning, Odin sends 2 ravens into the world. Their names are Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory. They fly across all 9 worlds, observing everything, and return each evening to perch on his shoulders and whisper what they have seen. Odin himself admitted that he feared for Hugin every time the raven left, but it was Munin he feared for more. You can recover from lost thoughts. Lost memory is something else entirely. Geri and Freki, the wolves. At his feet sit 2 wolves, Geri, the ravenous, and Freki, the greedy. Odin gives all the food from his table because Odin does not eat. He sustains himself on wine alone. A god of war and wisdom who does not need food, who lives on fermented grapes and forbidden knowledge. Sleipnir, the 8-legged horse. Odin's horse is unlike any creature in the 9 worlds. Sleipnir has 8 legs, is gray as winter fog, and can gallop across sky, land, and sea with equal ease. He bears the marks of hell on him, meaning he can travel to the realm of the dead and return. Sleipnir was born from Loki, who once shapeshifted into a mare, became pregnant by a giant stallion, and later gifted the foal to Odin. This is Norse mythology, and yes, it is exactly as bizarre as it sounds. Gungnir, the spear that never misses. Odin's weapon is Gungnir, the swaying one. Forged by the dwarf craftsmen known as the Sons of Ivaldi, Gungnir was etched with Odin's own runes to increase its aim and lethality through magic. Once thrown, it never misses its mark. It never fails to kill. Archaeologists have confirmed that real Norse warriors carved runes into their spears. They were imitating their god. Draupnir, the ring that multiplies. Odin also possesses Draupnir, a golden ring forged by the dwarf brothers Brokkr and Sindri. Every 9th night, 8 identical rings of equal weight drip from it. It is a symbol of wealth, abundance, and the endless cycle of the 9 worlds. It was so precious to Odin that when his beloved son Balder died, Odin placed Draupnir on his funeral pyre, and Balder sent it back from the realm of the dead. And finally, Mimir, the head that whispers. In the primordial war, Odin sacrificed one of his own eyes to drink from the well of wisdom. It is guarded by a being named Mimir. Mimir knew enough to be wary of Odin, but Odin knew more. Instigating a war and putting Mimir in danger, he all but forced him to be captured by the enemy. Then, when the enemy got angry at Mimir and cut off his head and sent it back to Odin, instead of burying the head, Odin cast its spells on it, and to this day, Mimir's head sits next to Odin and whispers all its secrets into his ear. And so, Odin dodged the dead.
Here is something the myths don't always make clear. Odin doesn't just preside over war. He curates it. He chooses who wins. He chooses who dies. He sends his Valkyries, warrior maidens, to the battlefield to select the fallen worthy of Valhalla. And he deliberately lets great heroes die at the height of their power, so they join his army in Asgard. He is gathering soldiers, deliberately, obsessively. The Einherja, the chosen warriors of Valhalla, feast and fight every day, training for one single event, Ragnarök. Odin has seen what's coming, and everything he has done, every sacrifice, every war, every warrior he's collected has been in preparation for a battle he already knows he cannot win. Odin has seen it in the runes. He has seen it in the waters of Mimir's well. He has seen it from his throne on Hlidshöf. One day, the wolf Fenrir will break his chains. The Midgard serpent, Jormungandr, will rise from the ocean and flood the land with its thrashing coils and spraying venom. The fire giant Surtur will march from the south and set Asgard itself ablaze. The rainbow bridge will crack and fall. The sun and moon will be devoured. The world tree will shudder, and on the plains of Yggdrasil, the gods will meet their end in one final apocalyptic battle. Odin will face Fenrir himself. The great wolf will swallow him whole. The All-Father, the wisest being in the cosmos, the God who gave his eye, who hung from the world tree, and who has spent every age of the universe preparing, will be consumed. He has always known this, and he has never stopped preparing anyway. That, more than his ravens or his spear or his magic, is what makes Odin one of the most remarkable figures ever created by the human imagination. He is not brave because he doesn't fear death. He is brave because he fears it completely, knows exactly how it comes for him, and charges towards it regardless.
The Vikings didn't worship Odin because he was safe. They worshipped him because he understood something they understood. Fate is inevitable, but you show up anyway. You sacrifice, you learn, you gather your warriors, you face the wolf, and maybe, just maybe, one of your sons survives to tell the story. If you found this video interesting, there's a lot more mythology ahead on History Profiles, and trust me, the stories only get stranger from here. Like and subscribe if you want to be there when we dig into the next one, and I'll see you in the next video.